Welcome to another edition of North Coast History and Haunts. Today's episode takes us to sleepy little Milan, Ohio. Today, Milan, Ohio is just a little town in central Ohio. It's not that far from the amusement park Cedar Point, and Milan is really known for being the birthplace of Thomas Edison. It's kind of a cool legacy, but we're not here today to talk about Thomas Edison, although he is going to play a part in this story. Today, we're here to talk about the Mad Miller of Milan. Who was the Mad Miller of Milan, you asked? It was Sam Winchester. He lived in Milan and he owned a grist mill. He would grind down wheat and corn. Samuel Winchester made a good living owning this grist mill. But in 1855, he was bitten by this aviation bug and he wanted to build a hot air balloon. He'd heard about it, it was going on in Europe, and he had to do it. So he quit the mill business. He gave it to his brother and started making preparations to create a balloon and also, more importantly, to create the gas that was going to use to float this balloon. Back in those days, he had used hydrogen gas, and he made hydrogen gas by breaking down water. So once he developed enough gas for this, he decided to give it a try. But just before he did it, an accident occurred and he accidentally burned down the mill. So now he's got no money, he's got no mill, all he has is a balloon and a bunch of gas. So what do? You fly the balloon. So that's what he did. He took off from this spot. 55, there were 5,000 people in attendance. They all wanted to see him fly. He told his friends, he told his neighbors, he told everybody, hey, guess what? We're gonna fly. And in attendance that day was a 6-year-old Thomas Edison. He certainly would have been here to observe everything that was happening. So the Mad Miller of Milan takes off, and he doesn't get too far. He lands in a neighboring town, but he's excited about the success, and he wants to try it again. So he doesn't take off from Milan again. He takes off from what he considers a suitable location, and that's Norwalk, Ohio. And Norwalk, Ohio will allow for greater crowds to observe this crazy stunt. So let's go to Norwalk and take a look.
So there's a cool newspaper article in the Norwalk Reflector of Tuesday, October 2nd, 1835, and they give an account, a first-hand account of this, of his journey, and I just want to read a little bit. I'm going to start here. I was now 20,416 feet from the Earth. The balloon was now fully distended and the hydrogen nearly escaping at the lower orifice. I felt a crackling sensation in my ears, my eyes pained me, and I felt a general fullness or enlargement of the system. Respiration was not natural, but not very difficult. I felt a dizziness come over me, and when I looked at my watch again, 28 minutes had elapsed. I was weak and nearly helpless. My balloon was fast discharging hydrogen. With difficulty, I threw over some bits of paper, looked for my thermometer. Everything seemed to be displaced. At last I found it. My fingers were numb with cold and could scarcely hold the thermometer. The indicator was 5 degrees below zero. I opened the escape valve to reach a warmer climate, but held it open too long. Found I was just descending too fast. Took up some ballast to throw overboard and found the bags of sand frozen hard. I broke them across my knee and threw the pieces overboard one at a time. I now felt less of the fullness of the system, but my eyes were still sore. I could now see Akron, Ravenna, Painesville, and much of the country around as the clouds had now cleared away.
And we're back in Norwalk, Ohio. And it was on this exact spot where the Mad Miller of Milan took his second flight. This flight went a little better. There were a lot of people here. There was a militia, there were crowds, there was a band, a cannon roared out to announce his flight. He took off, he really did. The paper said that he rose to an immense height and went to the northeast, which would have been kind of that way. Now, there was also a report the next day that a balloon was observed without a pilot over Cincinnati. Yet there were more reports that he drifted out north over the lake. Whatever the case, he was never seen from again. Nobody saw him. There was no records, no accounts. It's as if he floated into thin air. Well, he had to go somewhere. Some people think he owed a lot of money back in Milan, so he had the whole thing orchestrated and planned out. However it happened, the Mad Miller of Milan, Sam Winchester, back on October 2nd, 1855, took this flight and was never seen from again. If you know where he's at, please leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos.